Thank you for joining me for this presentation on participatory action research and age well. We are the OA Involved team, and I'm Oriana Baccarino. Next slide. So what is participatory action research? Throughout this presentation, I'll be calling it PAR for short form. So PAR is characterized by 4 interrelated processes. The first is working with the community in order to define the problem. The second is research into social problems and issues with the active participation of the group, called collective investigation. The third is an educational process in which members of the group acquire a better understanding of the problems at hand and the underlying causes of those problems, so collective analysis. And lastly, action towards problem solving, collective action. Next slide. So using PAR. PAR is used in a variety of contexts, as you can see listed here. And those range from education to agriculture to research with oppressed, marginalized, or underrepresented groups. Next slide. The principles and characteristics of PAR. There are 7 components of the PAR process according to Selinger, and I'll just go through them with you. So the first is that the problem originates in the community itself and is defined, analyzed, and solved by the community. Second, the ultimate goal of PAR research is the transformation of social reality and improvement in the lives of individuals involved. Thus, community members are the primary beneficiaries of the research. 3. PAR involves the full and active participation of the community at all levels of the entire research process. 4. A range of powerless groups of individuals. 5. The ability to create greater awareness in individuals' own resources, learning to use them to be more self-reliant. 6. Community participation in the research process allows for a more authentic analysis of social reality. 7. PAR allows the researcher to be a committed participant, facilitator, and learner in the research process. Next slide. So what are the goals of PAR? PAR aims to equitably involve all partners in the research process and works with a research topic that is important to the community. Ultimately, it aims to combine knowledge and action for social change. Next slide. So why is PAR relevant to age well? According to past research, older adults as the intended users engaged in every stage of the technology development identify design issues more efficiently and at less cost than the traditional ways, and contribute to the higher use and uptake of the technology. Overall, better technology products developed with expert older adults' contributions have higher potential to fulfill their intended purpose of increasing their quality of life. As well, the benefits of engagement of older adults in technology projects go far beyond improvement of the products being developed. It creates great societal benefits in terms of increasing self-esteem, social participation, and self-advocacy of older adults. Next slide. AgeWell wants to ensure that technologies developed get out into the world and don't stop at the prototype stage. The commercialization cross-cutting areas are key to this. In terms of involvement of key stakeholders, CC3 on transdisciplinarity in AgeWell is promoting such work, and OA Involved is looking at the models and mechanisms for best practice in including older adults in technology research and development projects. The idea is that we develop technologies with older adults and not for them. This ensures a better fit between what is required of the technology and how the technology fits into their everyday lives. And a better fit means more likelihood of market uptake. Next slide. Methods used in PAR. Methods are not specific to PAR and become participatory based on the way they are used. PAR is framed as an orientation to research focusing on relationships between the research partners involved with the goal of social change and does not so much focus on a specific set of research methods. Each research process will differ depending on the project itself and the methods used for the project. Overall, PAR is a cyclical and dynamic process where stages impact each other and can be revisited. Next slide. So, ethical principles in PAR. Overall, it's important that the researchers be explicit about the nature of the research process from the beginning, while ensuring that there is equal access to information generated by the process for all participants. And I'll just go through the slide here in terms of the principles. So first, principles guiding work are accepted by everyone before starting research. Secondly, the development of work should stay visible and open to suggestions throughout the PAR process. There's shared ownership of the research, and descriptions and interpretations of research need to be negotiated with everyone prior to dissemination. Next slide. So the strengths of PAR. The process of collective inquiry with participants as active and meaningful contributors helps to build ownership of the research process and information, allowing trust to be developed. PAR helps to address issues that are important to the community in question, so research really aims to be more community-driven and more applicable. Next slide. Despite all the strengths of PAR, as with any type of research, there are limitations and challenges, and I'll briefly go through common challenges and questions of research using PAR or PAR research. One question is, what is community participation, and how can control be shared between researchers and community partners? Another question is, what is the level of participation throughout the study? It's hard for this level to remain constant, and this is something that should be openly discussed between researchers and community partners. Who represents the community, and how is that decided? How can the range of community interests be represented? And lastly, how are relationships built between research and community partners in order for the research to enter the community? And limitations of PAR include PAR being potentially misused. If it's seen only as a tool without regard for its original purposes, it may be manipulated by outside researchers to promote their own causes and validate their own research. Next slide. Going back to the Age Well project in PAR research, and specifically OA Involve. So Age Well projects strive to develop solutions that will help current and future generations of older adults and their caregivers to live quality lives and enjoy independence, improve security, safety, and social connectedness as they age. This really requires the involvement of older adults. OA Involve is an Age Well project and stands for Older Adults' Active Involvement in Aging and Technology Research and Development. The project focuses on understanding the ways in which older adults are involved in the technology research and development process, from research inception all the way to policies and services. In our project, OA Involve, the older adults are a partner group and have the power of decision making. Now, OA Involve surveyed fellow Age Well project leads and members about current practices and future plans for engaging older adults in their activities. And in the next couple of slides, I'll be going through findings from that. Next slide. Almost all Age Well projects involve older adults in a research participant role or have concrete plans to involve older adults in this role. Involving older adults as advisors and co-producers was not as frequently practiced, with 38% of projects involving older adults as advisors and 28% involving older adults as co-producers. Next slide. In total, 7 of the projects involve older adults in all 3 roles. And overall, the majority of the projects work with less than 50 older adults. The current and planned involvement reported by projects includes 82% of projects reporting currently or planning to involve older adults as participants, 11% of projects currently or planning to involve older adults as advisors, 7% of projects currently or planning to involve older adults as co-producers. And in total, there are 2,086 older adults involved in the above roles. Overall, the majority of AgeWell teams engage older adults in their projects, and OA Involve will support research teams to move along the involvement continuum towards greater engagement of older adults in the advisory and decision-making roles, increasing the participatory nature of AgeWell research. Next slide. Thank you very much for taking the time to listen to this presentation, and a big thank you to the OA Involved team for helping me put this together. If you have any questions, please feel free to contact us via email or visit our website, all of which are listed on this slide.